In this third part of our AFL Insights series, we're going to create a what-if scenario model using the same AFL data as before. We'll change a driver within the dataset to see what impact that would have had on the match results. Using Cognos Insight, we can show you how easy it is to change our application. First of all, we need to ensure that you have the right starting model, AFL Part 3 style. We will then save this as a working copy under a new name from the Save As menu. Ensure that we have a team selected. In our case, we've got Hawthorn selected. To create our new scenario model, we need to add a new dimension to the data. We can do this by enabling the View Content pane, going to the AFL Insights cube. We can then right-click on that cube and select New Data and the dimension. Accept the warning here. This is adding a new dimension to our existing dataset. We're going to give this a name of Scenario. We then need to go and edit the elements within this new dimension to ensure they have the right names. So right-click on the Scenario dimension, select Edit, change the member A1 to be called Actual, which is our main dataset, and delete the second member for now. And then click on Close. So we can now close our content pane. Returning to the cross tab, we can see that the new scenario dimension has been added to the filter area. In order to be able to use this new dimension, we're going to replace the existing rows with the new dimension simply by dragging and dropping. To create our what if scenario, we need to copy the data that's currently showing as actual. To do that, we can right click on the actual member name and select the option called Duplicate. This will create an exact copy of the dataset that's in actual. We can then give that a name and we'll call that what if. You may notice that some of the calculated columns are showing as zeros. We need to refresh the calculations. To do this, we need to click on the Widget Actions button and go to the option called Set Cube Rules. All we do here is simply find an empty row, hit Enter and click on OK. This will refresh the calculations, and as you can see, the calculations on the what if scenario are now correct. To help our what if analysis, we need to add a chart widget. To be able to do this, we click on the Restore Widget icon in the top right hand corner. This will enable us to move the cross tab around the workspace and to resize it. We can then view the content pane again, drag the AFL Insights cube onto the workspace. For our new chart, we're going to need the years to be across the top as the columns and the measures to be the rows. So we simply click on the Swap Rows and Columns icon. We can now resize this new widget. And because we're going to be looking at win percentage or number of wins, over time we can go through and hide all the rest of the measures, so we're just left with the number of wins by year. Next, what we want to be able to do is look at both of our scenarios. So we drag and drop the scenario dimension to the left hand side of the number of wins. So we get an actual and our what if scenarios both showing. We can turn off the cross tab. We now have our two charts. What we'd like to be able to do is to merge these onto one chart. So we turn off matrix charts by right clicking. You can see that we now have one chart of a column for actual and a column for our what if data. In order to test our what if scenario, we can return to the cross tab at the top. Here we want to increase the number of goals scored and see what happens to our win percentage if the total number of attempts on goal isn't changed. So we type in INC 10 for increase by 10%. This will increase the number of goals scored by 10%, but the total number of attempts is fixed. So once we're happy with that, we click on enter, and we can see that our data's turned blue. So our number of goals have gone up, and we can see what happens to our win percentage, or the number of wins in that chart. So we can see we've won a few more matches in 2004, and overall our win percentage has gone from 59% to 64%.